Hello there guys, welcome back to our channel. Before we begin, smash that like button and subscribe to our channel. By clicking the bell symbol, you may also enable post notification. Now, let's get started without further ado. If you haven't seen Squid Games yet, I strongly advise you to do so. Squid Game is currently the most talked about K-drama. It's no surprise that the series has grown so popular thanks to its original but horrific writing and stellar group. The world of gaming, greed and money appears to fascinate viewers. Are you interested in seeing if you could survive the Squid Game? Squid Game, the binge-worthy ultra-violent game show from hell, has become a global media sensation and is swiftly becoming Netflix's most popular show. This death trap is a setting for a Squid Game, a film about 456 desperately indebted people who play a series of deadly children's games in the hopes of surviving and winning a fortune. All of the enjoyment of a few super-rich VIPs who watch on. Squid Game's final interpretation of children's games have taken over our thoughts. If the person survives 6 deadly games in the series, the winner gets 45.6 billion won. The way to survive 6 deadly games: red light, green light, sticks together. Because the contestants panicked, the first of the Squid Games had a high death toll. When the guns started firing, the majority of the players bolted, ensuring their death. However, it's a relatively straightforward victory. There's still plenty of time to get to the finish line, so take it slow and leisurely. If you take a moment to gather information, you'll see that the terrifying robot always says the same thing before a red light. This should give you plenty of time to prepare for your freeze. When you're ready to stop moving, take a comfortable, steady, wide position on both feet with your knees slightly bent. Just stay still, shift your weight from foot to foot. Slowly inhale and exhale, and don't stiffen up. When it's time to move again, walk, run steadily forward. Keep an eye out for falling bodies or blood streaks that could trip you up, and listen for the phrase. To avoid being grabbed, try to establish some gap between yourself and the other players. When the main character, Jihan, realizes that those who are discovered moving are shot, he hesitates to join. Despite his sluggish comprehension of the events unfolding in front of him, Jihan receives assistance twice. The first time was when Cho Sang-woo, his boyhood friend, persuaded him to merely go along with the innocent-turned-murderous game so that he may survive to see another day. The second time is when Abdul Ali prevents Jihan from tripping before the devilish doll detects movement and turns around. Just when you think the episode has devolved into an every-man-for-himself disaster, Jihan is saved by a good Samaritan. The apparent survival strategy is to stick together, perhaps when you'll have a better chance of surviving. Number 2. Sugar Honeycomb. Happy accidents happen, be aware of your surroundings. The Honeycomb Challenge asked everyone to use only a needle to cut out a particular shape engraved on honeycomb sweets. They will perish if they don't maintain the form, so they have to create a cut in the candy and continue this technique until you have plenty of time to carve out your shape without breaking it and failing the level. It's a primary challenge, but it's terrifyingly nerve-wracking when you're facing a gunshot to the head. Jihan would know. His sweat ended up on his honeycomb because he was so scared. As a result, a pleasant accident occurred. Squid Game survival advice would be incomplete without the following. Be mindful of your surroundings will aid you in breaking the code. Number 3. Tug of War. Brains over bronze is not dead. This was my favorite challenge in the series because it demonstrated that experience and intelligence can still triumph in physical games. There isn't much to say about the rules of Tug of War, except that the losing team in Squid Game falls in their debts. Everything you know about Tug of War is incorrect. The regulations of the Tug of War International Federation govern how we play Tug of War. However, these restrictions prohibit some of the most potent ways of pulling a rope, and these rules do not apply in Squid Game. Lift the rope to your shoulders and turn 180 degrees to begin. You can lean forward with your backs to your opponents and gain a lot more leverage and strength. It's difficult to define, but watching this video of an Indian version of the Tug of War squad in action, it's clear why this approach, combined with collaboration and synchronization, will win any Tug of War competition. The losing side's worst weakness, in addition to these Squid Game survival techniques from Tug of War, was that they already misjudged G-Team Han simply because the team appeared to be physically weaker. They forgot about one crucial principle: brains trump bronze. Number 4. Marbles. Be soft but not weak. Be intense but not violent. The game's basic rules You have 10 minutes to obtain all your opponent's marbles without committing violence, making it a game of deception and manipulation. You might be able to score the most straightforward win in Squid Game history if you choose an easily misleading partner, such as an elderly guy with dementia or a good-hearted immigrant who trusts you. Begin by saying something like, "Let's count each other's marbles to make this fair. Please don't give up your bag when they pass it over. Instead, tell the managers that you've won," suggesting a fair game of odds and evens. Then utilizing rudimentary sleight of hand skills to manipulate how many marbles you have in your palm is a more sophisticated manner of screwing your opponent. Given the pressure of circumstance, you should be able to pull off some deception at the critical moments, and you'll probably only have to fake it once or twice to win. Number 5. The Glass Bridge. Having a good memory can save your life. There are 18 pairs of panels to walk through in this competition, half of which are dangerous and half are not. It all comes down to where you are in the lineup when it comes to winning. According to the rule of averages, once 9 individuals have attempted to cross, the path will be cleared. But the first person to try it has a 1 in 262,144 chance of safely crossing. If it describes you, I advise you to avoid crossing the bridge at all costs, running to the corner and threatening to let the timer run out, causing everyone to perish until you move to the back of the queue. This is unlikely to succeed, although it has a probability of more than 1 in 262,144. The only other technique that makes sense in this situation is the one used in the series, in which a glass producer can distinguish between tempered and non-tempered glass. If you succeed, the essential thing to remember is not to tell anyone, lest the managers turn off the lights and kill you. Some people have recommended chucking everyone's shoes against the glass before stepping, but I don't think the managers would allow it. After all, those wealthy jerks spend a lot of money to watch you die. Number 6. The Squid Game. Don't show weakness. Don't provoke anyone before a game. In the 1970s and the 1980s, the titular game was reportedly popular in Korean schoolyards. It contained some complex regulations, but they are unlikely to be necessary. Only 2 contenders are remaining at this point, and each is armed with a steak knife, so it'll almost certainly be a knife fight to the death. Several martial arts include weapon training, but learning the knife-fighting tactics specified in the U.S. Marine Corps Close Quarters Combat Manual is brutal, efficient, and paid for with your tax dollars. Alternatively, you could wrap your unarmed hand in your tuxedo jacket to make it more difficult for your opponent to cut you, then block the parry with that hand while slicing and stabbing with the other. Remember that you're using the steak knife rather than a combat knife, so your weapon will be more delicate. To keep your blade from breaking or bending, avoid stabbing bone areas like the skull or chest. Before this game, Tansei Bayok was injured. I didn't understand why she just didn't ask for a doctor at first, but it quickly occurred to me that doing so would have signaled her opponent to kill her right there and then. She was astute at concealing it. Sang-woo, on the other hand, killed her even before the Squid Game began. However, Sang-woo made the error of assuming that Ji-Rage Hun's was irreversibly sparked as a result of Sang-Lak-woo's of sympathy and understanding. As a result, he was able to defeat Sang-woo in the Squid Game and emerge victoriously. So, youngsters, if you are in a competition and you're towards the end of the game, mind your own business. Provoking and mocking your opponent is not a good idea. That's all we've got for you today, guys. Also, don't forget to thumbs up the video and subscribe for more entertaining content, and we'll see you again soon.